Welcome to another episode of Safety Chats with Jenesse, where we discuss and share security tips. I'm Jenesse Haruna, and with me is
Jimla Dako.
okay. And today we'll be discussing concerns of safety concerns with of kids with special needs. And I think to start off with, we'll just try to understand what special needs. A lot of people don't
Yeah,
understand.
true. A lot of people don't understand what special needs is actually. So when people say special needs ranges from there are different parts of special needs and different ranges. Okay, we have the autism spectrum. We have ADHD, which the full meaning is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. We have children with cerebral palsy, um, speech impediment, which actually happens to be a speech delay. There's a whole lot wide. The range is so wide when we talk about special
Is
needs.
Down syndrome.
But yeah, Down syndrome, that's true. That's like I said, it's wide. It's very wide. And even in ADHD, we have different parts of ADHD. So it's special needs is it's a very, very large and wide field that it's I don't know. It's not something we can just talk about in one day. And not everybody understands what special needs is or difficulties they go through or certain things. Basically, I think today we're going to be discussing about safety for special needs children and in the not just everywhere they go, right? School,
Yes.
their environment and
Yes.
everything. So
So
basically,
how does having say special needs? You said because I've always heard of somebody's on the spectrum. So if
yeah.
you said there are different types of spectrum special needs, I'm now guessing from what you've just said that that's what it means to be on the spectrum.
Oh, the spectrum. When you say that you're on the spectrum, that's the autism spectrum.
Okay.
So when somebody says the person's on the spectrum, the person just doesn't want to actually just call the full name. Oh, the person has autism. So the person just says you're on the spectrum. But because again, autism has a whole lot. So you could actually there are different, like I said, levels of autism, and some special needs children and people have more than one. You could actually see somebody with multiple special needs. You could see somebody that has ADHD and autism. You could see somebody that has dyslexia and autism. You could see somebody that has ADHD and dyslexia. You could see somebody with Down syndrome and a little bit of autism. So it goes hand in hand. And you could just see somebody that just probably just has ADHD alone or autism alone or dyslexia alone, and they all have different there different effects and all. The only one I know that are similar is ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It has a lot of similarity with autism, and that's why most times doctors and therapists sometimes misdiagnose them. That's why when somebody is showing signs of either autism or ADHD, they don't just diagnose them immediately. They take a period of time so that they actually know what the person has or if the person is dealing with two, since the two different special needs actually are very similar. So it's a wide range actually.
And how does having special needs affect? I mean, I know you might not be able to explain per
For each special needs?
for each special need, but how does it affect generally safety of children?
I would actually start with the special needs I am conversant with, which happens to be ADHD and autism, which I think is one of the widely known special needs. It affects some of them because some of them can't sit at a place. They are overly hyperactive, energetic. Some of them cannot talk. They can't even take commands. They can't even maintain eye contact with you. So it's a case of you have to be this person's security because the person doesn't know any better. So that's it. Some of them it's reading in school, having to read, having to maintain focus. It's a problem for them. Some of them is just assimilation generally. Some of them it could be their psychomotor, like their body to do normal things you and I do. They can't do it. Like they can't help themselves to the restroom. They just can't help themselves. They just probably are all over the place. And they don't know what is actually harmful and hazardous to them. Like some other kids know that if I put my hand here, this will burn me. They don't know. Some other kids know if I go here, this will happen to me. They don't know. So that's why we parents, tutors, therapists, society at large has to actually be the ones to like help these children and create a very safe space and environment for them. both in school, place of worship, wherever they go. We have to actually do better. And how do we do better if we don't even know what special needs is in the first place or how to even handle it?
Okay. So you said society in general, and what I was thinking is how does that what was the experience say moving around with a child that has special needs? What was the experience? Say you go to, I remember when my child was still younger, and I went to church, and it was a big building because our church used to be in a big hotel, and they claimed to be 5 star. And they don't have changing, and they didn't have a changing in the women's room. There was no changing,
Room for babies.
yes, changing room or changing facility, whether it's the board or or anything. They didn't have that for babies, and I was shocked because I mean I'll just name because it's Hilton, and there's no explanation why
They
a
shouldn't have that.
Hilton, a hotel as big as Hilton,
Such facilities.
doesn't have such facilities. So, what's your experience going about, say, restaurants, hotels, shopping complexes, places of worship, even schools? And what do you look out? Then we'll get to what do you look out when trying to choose a school.
Yeah. Truth be told, I would like to. I'm very sure a lot of us that actually have special needs children. Um, Most times there are places we don't take them to just to avoid a lot of stuff because I can't be taking you to a mall now where there are so many breakable things and I can't keep you in one place. You could break them and hurt yourself. So I rather not just take you. But some kudos to some facilities. Okay, I was at Unkoyed restaurant and I was so happy that they actually have this framed up chair where you could fasten. There's like a belt, like this, like a seat belt, the way it is in the car. You could fasten the child, and the child can't get out. So that I was really happy. That's one restaurant I saw, and I was so happy that I could see that where I could keep my special needs child, and my child won't harm. It's made of wood, so my child is not going to harm himself, not going to be a burden to any other person, not going to be running up and down the place, you know. And I was really happy. And they actually have cutleries that are friendly for this kind of children. So that's just one out of many. And in schools, we have schools that actually have things in place for special needs children, but not many of them. And those ones that have those things in place, they are pretty pricey, and not everybody can afford them. But basically, truly going out with a special needs child in this part of the world is not easy because there really is nothing in place for them. And people don't understand.
I mean, you mentioned I can imagine going to, say, a restaurant, and what you want to do is sit down and eat, and you want your child to be if your
Comfortable.
child has hyper, some form of hyper activity, or is hyper, and you want to put them in a seat and just restrain and kind of this thing. So it's little things like that, cutleries. I know that, I mean, there are special things that people pick up, but you never really think about cutlery,
Yeah.
right? That maybe the regular fork
Could harm them.
could harm them and might not work. So they might need special cutlery.
More like wooden or plastic.
Yes, I actually thought wooden. Okay. Wooden or plastic cutleries would be helpful.
Instead of metal.
So going to a restaurant and the cutleries, looking at some of those things, but I mean, it's about the way things are placed, how they are placed, how you're able to access, say, staircase, elevators, even in the
Yes.
school.
Or like these walkways that you could actually just push. They are not stairs but walkways that are like slopey, that are easy for them to,
Okay.
like, they won't injure themselves, they're just going to be walking down and all. I think that's better, or you can even push them through or wheel them through or something. That would be a lot easier, a lot better. But then again, staircase is okay for them because they actually have the energy. For those that either have ADHD or autism, they have the energy. But what about the other one? Somebody like, let's say, a child now with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy that has issues walking.
And that might need
Yes, those kind of ways. So it's better to actually have those slopey kind of stairways where you could just wheel them up on a wheelchair or something, or even walk aiding them. It's easier. It's easier for you to walk aiding them on those kind of stairways and not gas out
Without
easily than normal stairways. You actually gas out and they could actually trip and fall. So I feel that would be better if we could have that almost everywhere we turn and see.
especially in public
Places.
in public spaces, making provision for simple provisions for lift, elevators, walkways
Yeah.
that are easily accessible and all the rest of it. So, what is the most important thing parents raising a kid with special needs? I'm sure they already know. But what
Yeah.
are the things that you have learned that can help not just parents? I think this is important for
But
everybody,
yeah,
especially for uncles, aunties, family,
therapies.
family friends.
Yes, that come in contact with the
That
children.
come in contact with the children. I remember inviting a child for something, right? Inviting a child for something. I didn't actually realize 'cause I was inviting all the children that that particular child had. I know there was a child, but I think I mixed up the name. And the parent just sent me a message that, oh, we will not be coming. Like, why so much? Then discovered it was that child. I was like, oh, but you could. I mean, for me in my head, I just thought, oh, this person just turns out all invitations, right? Not think, just thinking, oh, I don't want to be in that space
Or be a burden to you.
where
Or where
your
my
child
child will throw a
is,
tantrum and
yes, so a tantrum. But you see, what we need to do is be more accommodating. I'm probably kind of person that would have made extra provisions to find
that's
out,
you.
would have made extra provisions to find out, oh,
What can we do to make it better for
yes,
this child?
to make it better for children, because I think I really believe strongly in inclusion and allowing children
Yeah.
explore, especially socially, with other kids. So how can we make, and that's probably one thing that I'm asking the question and I'm when I'm already speaking, making environment safe. So if you have a friend that has special needs, for instance, and I'm just speaking from the top of my head, has special needs, for instance, and you want to invite them over, maybe asking them, oh, how can I make it safe for your child? What would they want to eat? What would they eat? And all the rest, so that they feel
Among
welcomed to be part of a
a
larger group.
okay. Um like I said earlier, we have different special needs. So now it depends on what we're dealing with,
Mhm.
what kind of special needs we're dealing with. Okay. Let's say now you're having a party and you need to invite kids over. Now, first I'll say if you're having a party that kids are going to be at, it's just to they are not really very selective eaters per se, although they have their diets and all that helps them out, but they're not very selective eaters. You just do a meal that cuts across. Like for instance, everybody eats rice. Just do a meal that cuts across. Almost everybody eats chips, Irish potatoes. So you could do something that cuts across. That's one. Then for drink, you could just do something because most of them are already hyperactive, so we don't want to give these people sugar.
Sugar.
So instead of soda for them, why not swap to a more natural or friendly drink? Could do freshly squeezed orange, or you can even actually like the way you twist up things now. Just make popsicles with fruits.
Mm-hmm.
That's ice cream. That's they would have fun. They would be happy and
Mm-hmm.
all. So that's for their entertainment. Then we have to look at areas that we're running this party in places where children with special needs and neurodivergent children are going to be there. So now we actually need spaces that are safe.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need sharp objects where a lot of metals where these people could injure themselves. We would have to do games that are safe for them. Basically, just the area.
Just
And
making
then
sure everything
everything
is
is
safe.
safe. It's the way we baby proof a house. Oh, going to have a baby. This house has to be baby proof to make sure it's safe for my baby. Same way we have to special needs proof a place for a special needs child, basically. And I think society needs to start getting to do better. Like you made a statement that if you were you would actually go the extra mile to do extra for the child. That's you one in how many? A lot of people would rather these children don't come for their parties than going the extra mile. Ah, no, there are a lot of people that make snide comments. Why is the child not talking? Why can't the child stay still? Why is the child like this? Why is the child like that? So, most special needs parents, when they see this, they rather just keep their children at home to avoid any of all these things. And that's why some of them actually spend time with fellow special needs mom, like just, that has special needs children, just have play dates, but it's basically special needs children. But like you said, they need to interact with other children. They need to have this inclusive learning. It's not just going to be have to be about them because they're still going to grow up and go into society, and they're not only going to be interacting with people who have special needs like them. They're going to have to interact with other people who don't have special needs.
Yes, as
So
well.
basically, it's just having to look at pointers and know exactly what they need and how we can make whatever space they are going to be in safe for them. Like right now, where we are, it's very safe for special needs child. There is absolutely nothing that would, make this special needs child unsafe or harm this child. Like now, the love arts. The special needs child comes inside here. The special needs child is practically going to be joyed. Like the art is going to catch special needs child's attention. The color of the walls is calming, it's soothing. Like if you go to most of special needs centers, you notice that their walls are either cream, white, or just mild colors. We have white everywhere. So it is already therapeutic to them. So that this space is already a safe space. So we can use this space now as a yardstick for what other spaces should be. Almost everything here, there's no metal, it's wood. Do you understand? So it's pretty much safe and therapeutic and calming for them. So that's just basically what we need. Things they can't injure themselves with, and things that calm them down.
So making sure that the furniture that you put into your public space or your maybe even your home is safe.
For them.
Is safe. I have a few scars from secondary school. That's because we had metal, all this metal.
And those glass tables.
No, our chairs were made with metal, wrought iron. So I have a couple of scratches from there. So it's making sure that we're using things like wood that have
Yes.
For our furniture, wood,
And then
taking out glass.
tables that the edges are just not sharp. You see this is a smooth edge.
Tempered glass, maybe.
I don't even advise glass at all.
Okay.
No glass at all.
Okay. Because the tempered glass breaks differently. Acrylic, maybe instead of glass, or resins, alternative and
yes.
safer products.
And then even color of our walls, the color of our surroundings. How calming is it? Things like even putting the painting.
So when you say colors, I don't know this, but I'm thinking most restaurants, the restaurant colors are yellow, red, occasionally maybe black, right? Those are universally colors that restaurants. In my mind, I just think that all of those colors are triggering.
Okay, yeah, it is. I want to use a restaurant that I know a special needs child is would be very comfortable in. Sketch. Have you seen the restaurant Sketch?
White,
Lagos,
black.
right, and a lot of sketches. See, that's coming. That's calming. That's therapeutic. So even if you're going to be doing colors instead of red, why not do a calm ash or a calm sea blue or even a lilac? Not colors that are just out there, colors that are calm and soothing. Because some of them get triggered by colors. Meanwhile, some of them love colors. So it just depends on what specialty. So instead of saying, oh, because you can't just say it's only a child with ADHD or autism that may come in. What if a child with cerebral palsy comes or a child with dyslexia? So instead of having to say, okay, what color do I use? Okay, maybe some of them like colors, some of them don't like colors. Just choose a neutral, calm color. It could be cream, it could be ash, it could be.
Oh, just making different. I know some restaurants, if I can think of the top of my head, have different spaces that are designed differently.
Yes, we could actually do that. Yes, so that okay, but some people don't have enough space. So just imagine it's a place that doesn't have enough space. Just use one neutral color. But if you have enough space and to play around with, of course, you could have another place where okay, this is where this type of people would sit down. But then again, human beings are never satisfied. They'll be like, oh, why are you segregating us? So to just make it everybody is happy and feels included, it's just better to have one safe color all through.
Okay, so the next question I'll probably have is how do you teach or guide a child with special needs about their safety? How would you go about it?
Uh, it's really not a walk in the park or something easy because, like I said, some of them can't talk. They can't even take instructions. But for the ones that can talk, you have safe words to use in passing your message across. And for the ones that cannot talk, there are other ways to teach them because some of them learn through drawings, through rhymes, different things. So there are different ways to teach them. You could even do sign language for those that don't talk. Okay, things like maybe you want to tell your child that nobody should touch your child inappropriately because of the rise of what we're
Mm,
having right now going on in the country. You could actually just say, so they understand that this is out of bound. Do you
okay.
understand? There are ways to say it. Then the ones that love to draw clips, you can rhymes, you can turn it to a song. You can even name their parts of their
I mean,
bodies in other way they
I'm
understand.
also imagining as you're saying this is having like a sketch of the body
Hmm.
and coloring, maybe using like a color code to
Yes.
say, I mean, they say private parts are everywhere. That definition changes with what you decide private part is. But if it's your mouth, your breast, and all
Yes.
the rest, and you're color coding those areas,
Areas.
say red,
Yes. Red is a
don't
no-go
touch.
area.
These
Um,
areas
Purple,
are
don't touch.
so these areas don't touch.
Touch.
These areas are this,
Don't
and
touch.
that's a sign that actually can be created to say, okay, these areas don't touch, and you're classifying with
Them.
different things.
Yes.
So that's what is
And
coming
then
to.
for those that can talk, you can actually do name it. Like, okay, like for my son, he knows that his this thing is pee.
Yes.
So once he knows nobody should touch his pee, and then when I'm beating him, before I go to wash it, I let him understand the only reason why I'm touching it is because I want to wash it.
Yes.
So he already knows nobody should touch it. Mommy only touches it because she wants to wash it.
In terms of dealing with other children, how I mean, I know it will be difficult, but how do you say? I remember when my child was in, I think it was in nursery, right,
Okay.
which would be nursery one, the actual
Okay.
nursery, if you look at it like that. So when they were in nursery, we had a child with special needs, and it was the first interaction. That's why I'm going back to that first interaction, and she always came back and said, "Oh, this person is naughty. Is this?" And I just said, "No, he's special. He does things differently."
Yeah.
But so we had to, because for other kids, why is this person being naughty? Is what they say in class. But this person is always naughty, is always breaking things down. So you need to kind of explain
To them.
to them. And I don't know if that is done enough to children, even to, I know we, obviously when you're trying to get care, nannies, and all the rest of it, you probably have to get someone that understands special
And then
needs.
overemphasize it to
Get
them.
it on that. But in terms of bullying in school, because the child is acting differently or bullying amongst other kids, how do you deal with that?
Bullying in school, I would first say the school management has to sensitize and sanitize. In that area, what I mean is their staff needs to understand what special needs is. Before you even accept a special needs child in your school, your staff has to understand what special needs is.
Mm.
You have to know how to explain to the other children why this child is different. And for the special needs parents, you have to actually teach your children and talk to them what not to do. Because some of them sometimes they don't get bullied, they bully others.
Mhm.
So it's a collective and combined effort thing, both from the parents that have the special needs child to the owners of schools, to staff, to even family members. We just need to keep talking about it and educating them because it's not something that is just going to be achieved in a day.
So when you say they bully others, because I'm trying to understand the struggle for the child that wants to play when you are not in the mood to play, right? Or I'm pulling something from another child and I just think it's funny or it's fun. And the other child, because those are things that we translate as bullying, right?
No, that's not what I mean, bullying. Realizing that some of them, like I said, were like a typical autistic child, that the autism is really on the high level. Some of them throw tantrums. When I mean tantrums, they go as far as banging their head on the wall,
Breaking stuff.
breaking stuffs, and all of that. Sometimes some of them actually do it to other children. You find where they are hitting another child or something. So that's the kind of bullying I'm talking about. You could actually have a situation whereby, because they can't express themselves like you and I, or like the other children, the only way they know how to express themselves is to throw tantrums. So they could actually drag a child in another child in a way that is not really right, that could actually
Mhm.
cause injury to
That,
that
that
child.
that's what I'm trying to say. So that's something that we would interpret as bullying. But it's
Yes,
trying to get your attention. So it
yes,
will probably be a situation where, or when you are frustrated about something, don't bang your head on the
oh
wall. And
yes.
in place of banging your head on the wall, if you are trying to communicate something and you're struggling to communicate it, why don't you do so, so, and
So
so?
yes,
Right? So it's now trying to understand where the frustration is.
it's coming from.
Is why do they pull things when
Why do they break things?
why they pull and break things? What are they trying to communicate when they do that? How can we teach or explain to them that, okay, instead of doing this, if you feel this way, instead of doing this, why don't you
Do
do
this.
this? Why don't you color
Or why don't you
and
get your tab and write out what you want?
write out what you want or communicate, try to communicate so
Get
that
what you
others
want.
understand what you want or what you're trying
Do.
to do.
Or message you're trying to pass across.
Mhm. Okay. I think we've spoken about children, caretakers, schools, and you've explained that it will be good for a school that is trying to take on
Special
kids
needs
with
children.
special needs to be well informed
Yes.
and to
Well trained.
well informed, well trained, and to communicate their policies to their staff. So it's not enough that a child with special needs is in a particular class and the teachers in that class understand, or they even have a special needs teacher in that class that is handling the child, but the rest of the school they don't know what to do. What if the teacher is not in school tomorrow?
True.
What if the teacher is gone and somebody needs to deal
Feeling.
feeling and it might be just at that point the child is left the class where his teacher is and someone else needs to interact or intervene and they don't know what to do.
The best thing is for, I believe, every school owner, not just even if you want to take a special needs child into your school, basically it is a skill everybody should have. Trainings. Trainings should be done. They have courses online. The courses online that it costs nothing. Just read about it. I believe everybody, with the way the world is evolving, you don't know where you have the opportunity to interact with a special needs child or a special needs person, because some people are actually special needs adults, because these children actually grow to become teenagers, young adults, then adults. I actually of recent, that was last 2 weeks Thursday, I actually met somebody. He's 43-year-old and he's autistic. So everybody needs to actually know one or two things about special needs so that we know how to interact with them, especially for schools. It should start from the owner of the school, should just have courses being done on special needs. The head teacher, everybody, even down to their nannies that take care of these children, even down to their cleaners. Because, of course, like you said, they would interact with these children,
Mhm.
even down to the gateman, everybody in that school premises, everybody should actually know how to be
How
able
to
to handle special
interact.
needs, because this child can run out from the class and run somewhere else.
Mhm. So, I mean, to round up, this was not part of what, but to round up, I think what one of the things that's crossed my mind is what is the government doing, and is the government doing enough? Because I hear parents with special needs, and I know I've seen it on our school
Platform,
fees that kids with special needs pay extra,
way extra.
right? And parents are already complaining about the cost of education. then but there doesn't. I've not really heard, or I'm not sure whether there are grants available to schools to subsidize the cost of hiring additional help
Special needs
for
children.
special needs. I don't know that the government has any provision. I mean, we're talking about at the younger age, we don't even know about higher education. What access is available in secondary and university, tertiary schools for kids with special needs? What kind of intervention have you seen that is being provided?
Unfortunately, sorry to say this, but we don't have any. The schools that I know, example, cadets, Lola Aneke is run by Lola Aneke. She does it herself. I don't know the government is helping out. She does it
Mhm.
herself. There's this other school run by Mrs. Bibi in Kere, and
We've interviewed
she
a
does
lot
it
of
herself.
we've
The youngest
interviewed a
ones,
lot of, I mean,
so
a couple of
schools basically they do it
people that work
themselves.
with schools, and that's one of the things that they've said. There's no regulation or
There's
support
no,
from
there's no,
government,
there's no.
except when they come to inspect your school and they collect whatever charges there may be. But that the government is not
They
doing
don't.
much. The Ministry
Even
of
in
Education is
even
not.
in hospitals, because these children go for therapy. Even in hospitals, you literally pay yourself. These children take some of them take supplements.
And there's no insurance.
There is none.
I mean, if you have an insurance package, is there? It does say the insurance cover kids with special needs, for instance.
And you have to be paying extra for that. You literally have to be paying extra for that. There really is nothing.
Because it becomes almost like a punishment to um the person. Is like, oh, I have to pay extra, I have to do this extra. So it's an extra burden, if I put it like that. It's an
Funny
extra
enough,
burden. It's an extra burden where you feel like, oh, I'm taking all of this
this
myself. Is an extra weight
yeah.
that I think should be subsidized
That
by
is
government, Ministry of Health, because we've read about hospitals, Ministry of
education.
Health and Ministry of Education needs to do better.
Truth of the matter is, if
Labor and productivity, because somebody needs to employ kids with special needs when they become adults.
true, the truth of the matter is, if you're not mentally strong and stable to a certain extent in this country, and you have a special needs child, trust me, you would end up being depressed and you will lash out at the child. As I see some of them cage the children, some of them change these children, some of them don't know better. They feel it's a spiritual thing. They keep flogging them, keep doing deliverance upon deliverance for them, doing funny things to them. Truly, I think my earlier days of being a special needs mom, when I really didn't understand and I hadn't built my mental capacity, it felt like a punishment. It really did. Like I was like, what's going on here? Like, why do I have to pay everything extra? Why is my own case different? I just have a child. I didn't beg to have this child. I didn't ask to have this child. I should be helped out. Like there should be this cushion, like support. Like, things should be a bit better for me. But this country, you all know.
So, I mean, that's is interesting and it's a message to government. I think we should do better
Yeah, we should actually.
on protecting, because this is where we talk about protecting the vulnerable in society. We need to do better, and I think to the general public as well, we need to create more awareness.
And we have to be nicer with our words because the general public, a lot of people are not nice with their words.
Nigerians generally just speak. And Nigerians generally just speak. So people need to learn
Be
to
empathic.
to be empathic towards certain things, and it's really a matter of knowledge
Yeah.
and information, understanding. Because in the past, it's like the changing story. I know that that is possible, and that's obviously used to happen. But the more people are becoming aware of these things, they understand. They're understanding it differently.
They still change them till date. They still do in some places. Some people still feel the special needs thing is something deliverance is going to take away. Forgetting that I'm not taking away the place of God. God is God, and I believe in the God factor for everything. I believe in praying, but you have your part to play. You don't just sit down and expect, oh, this is just going to go. It's not a spiritual problem. You have your part to play. So let's just be empathic, because I mean, I've heard a lot of people say things. A lot of people say things, and it will shock you that sometimes some of these people. That's when you know that people are just mean, because some people are informed. They know, it's not like they don't know, but they just want to be mean. They'll just tell you some words that no 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 no. So some people are mean, very mean, very mean.
Wow.
Let's just do better. Let's just do better, because already these people that have special needs children are already dealing with enough. They're already dealing with a lot. So if you can't be nice, just try and be nice, Sha. If you don't, then if you know you cannot tell them anything nice, just keep quiet, Sha.
So I think to round up today's conversation, empathy, be nice, and for businesses and organizations, be thoughtful. It's still
Yes.
part of showing empathy, and I hope that we can create a safer environment for children and even adults, people living with special
Yeah.
needs in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I
Thank
hope to
you.
see you soon again.
Yes, soon, because I'm already thinking of things that we can do. But